Yep. Is it going? Yep, it's going.
Here we are for part 3 with our BSMA Motocross Memories rider interview with Lee Ashby, former BSMA champion 1998. Lee, thank you for the questions so far, or the answers, should I say. Into the final sort of furlong now, and the last lap flag's just gone out. So we're
twice.
Yeah, it's not twice. So we'll crack on. Question number 20. If you could re-race a BSMA meeting stroke race tomorrow in your full prime, where would it be and why?
I had a meeting in the year I won the finals in '98 on my Suzuki. I had a meeting at Fox Hill. I think it was an ACU meeting, and I raced on my 125 against 250s, 2 strokes. And there was another chap that used to be, I didn't actually know at the time, but he was a former pro, was Julian Rawson. You probably even heard the story about the Jamie Dobb thing.
Yeah.
So it's the same Julian Rawson. I didn't know at the time because he was quite stealth. He sort of rocked up on this old Honda, but it was absolutely mental. It was like this rocket ship. I tried my nuts off the whole day to try and get with him, but I didn't quite get close enough to try and make a pass or anything like that. So it was like, 2 seconds away probably the whole time as close as I got. But we literally mullered everyone. Even 250s, our bikes were quick. We were passing the 250s everywhere. That's how quick our bikes were. But I would say I would race that on the pure feeling of, even though I've won an Aces of Motocross with Morden at Fox Hill as well, which was pretty cool. So that was good as well on a Suzuki 97, 98, I think. But I mean, that one, racing a former pro, and we were both on it massively, and going around Fox Hill in your full prime, full fitness, no arm pump, it's pretty cool.
What would you say? What was your best year then? When were you at your prime, do you think?
My prime.
If you could put the best Lee Ashby on your best bike, what year Lee Ashby would it have been?
Probably same year, 98. I think the bike.
Everything just clicked that year.
Yeah, the fitness was good. Bike was good. Bike was quick. Bike handled well. I was fit. I was racing well, fast. I think obviously I won the finals. I think I nearly won the Champions of Champions. I think I came second overall in the end. I think I maxed points in the club championships and everything. Pretty much won anything else I entered that year. Yeah, because I remember, bless him, used to love Chris Tucker, the Morden chairman.
Yeah.
Big shout out to him and his son Adam Tucker. I remember at Morden presentation, I think it was 96, 97. A lot of the senior lads, he was sort of saying basically that I'd had it my own way for a few years, suggesting that it wasn't that competitive to a degree, I think he was trying to say to me. And then he said all this on the mic at the presentation, and he's like, oh, we got, 5, 6 riders from the seniors are all coming up. They're going to be pushing him, sort of pretty much throwing the gauntlet down to me.
Yeah.
Which, was great. Obviously, more competition. That was great. I was looking forward to it. I saw that as the challenge. I thought that's cool. All good. And then obviously I went on to have probably the best years I had. For the record, I got maximum points again.
You like dropping that one in, didn't
you? Yeah. All right, let's just get that out there. Though, when we shared it, I did he said 6 months each, but I'm pretty sure I let you have it for the 12 months.
I was a young pup back then,
Exactly. See, I was a good guy.
You were a good guy. It was very good of you. So
so that was cool. Yeah.
Is there any sort of specific races that you had where possibly the Church Lynch one with Mr. Davies, but is there a particular race that you would like to rerun, and you feel maybe if things slightly different, you could have, a good battle that maybe didn't go your way, maybe not knocking people off that are doing cartwheels down the track or something like that, or is there a specific race that sticks in your mind that you think, cool, I wouldn't mind rerunning that one?
Pretty much just them final ones that didn't go how they were supposed to go, really.
Yeah.
And they weren't really anything, you know. I could, if I'd be happy to say I didn't ride very well and someone just beat me, but you know, I'm not saying I definitely would have won. I'm just saying that I would have been there or thereabouts, definitely going for that win. Those
Yeah.
ones annoyed me, obviously. So I'd like to have probably 97, 99 and 2000 back, the finals, that is.
Yeah.
You know, just a little bit of, you know, if you get totally T-boned out, you know, that's not something that's in your own hands, is it?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So that's a bit frustrating. Didn't you have something? What happened to you at that 95's Fox Hills? Something
Uh,
happened, didn't it?
yeah, I mean, it's not about me, this, but I got peg number 40, I think, for the first race, and was right out the left-hand side, and so there was a first corner crash, and I was taken out and involved in that, and I think I managed to get back up to about 12th in the first race, but it's all shoulda, woulda, coulda, and that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you all need a little bit of luck.
I would like that race back, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly that. So there's always a few of them, isn't there? Like I said, that's pretty much the ones. That would have been something to get those meetings on the trot every year. Would have been nice, but
Yeah, that'd have been a nice memory. So, Lee Ashby, what have you been doing with your life since you stopped racing?
pretty much touched on it earlier. I went flat out into football management and did that just as like I did racing. Probably too passionate.
Yeah.
There, you know, probably sounds weird when you say too passionate, but I was. It was my life. Literally, I missed motocross so badly. You know, trying to win. So for me, everything's trying to win. I can't help that. It's just like it's just my life. Is like even if I took my girls to bowling and someone goes, oh, let one of the girls sling a ball down on one of your girls. I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
nah, 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 nah. They're like, just mess about this time. I was like, nah, I can't do it. I literally cannot do it. It's like I am so bad competitive wise.
Find it difficult stopping racing? Did it sort of affect you?
Like I said, at the time, I didn't sort of think, oh, I'm definitely finishing now. I just remember going to it was busy going towards the end of that year. I was going up and down to the hospice with my granddad. I stayed with him to the end, and that affected me quite a bit at that time. And then, like I said, I was a bit demotivated with the motocross, riding the bike then that was a year older, and sort of thinking, like, I should be on a sponsored bikes now, and I should have been getting the support really from someone to be going and riding the British Championship. That's what I really wanted to do. And then I'm thinking, I'm already loaning a bike to a degree right now, and that's a year old already. And I'm thinking, where do you go from that? You can't be doing stuff like that when you're thinking about going to the British Championship. So Dad put all his money in as he could, but it was to that point where he wasn't going to be able to buy me a new bike or anything like that. He did brilliant. He couldn't have had a better mechanic, but just ended up coming down to finances, and then it's like, where do you go from there? Yeah, pretty disappointing the way it finished, really, to be honest.
So obviously you've been heavily involved in football since you stopped racing. Have you had much success in football? Has it carried on through? Have you taken teams far? Have many trophies to show to go along with motocross ones?
No.
Oh, really?
No, so you can imagine me. That's been the frustrating thing. We've had a few close runs in some Wiltshire leagues and come second once, and then obviously my passion spills over way too much with the football. I'm not as bad now, to be honest, but I was really bad at one point. I'd be like getting like £150 fines for saying stuff on my website, and then another £150 fine for saying something else about referees online, and then something else. And like I said, even one year, we were going to win this Div 2 of the Wiltshire League with one of my teams, and then two teams pulled out of the league, and there's a team in Salisbury called Wilton Town, and we had this big dig dong with them that year, but we beat them in everything in the cup as well. And then these two teams pulled out of the league. We lost the two wins, and they'd lost against this team that pulled out and drew, so they lost that, and then ended up winning the league by a couple of points.
One of them.
So it was one of them. So that was like that threw me into some rage thing as well, and I think I got fined for something like that, or something I said online, or something about something. But yeah, it's very hard to, like I said, to win in football. I couldn't put any more into it. Try to be as pro as you can in an amateur game, which is stupid to a degree, because you sort of don't feel like you get anything back sometimes. But
I think obviously what myself and anyone else probably watching this is, and also with how you've been with the group, you can tell that you're a very passionate person, and I think sometimes that can be a huge advantage, but it can also be a disadvantage to you as well. And you've probably experienced that with the managing and whatnot, and but I guess that's what's made you who you are, and a successful racer, and hopefully a successful interviewer as well.
Yeah, like I said, I always do my best. So
yeah, which obviously leads me on. I know that from conversations we've had in the past, you did some work after obviously motocross. You were quite big into the reporting for the ice hockey at the Swindon Wildcats, and various other football bits, and bit of boxing as well, which I know is certainly a big thing for me. But you've been down to a few of the gyms in Swindon, report the fighters down there. How did that all come about?
Basically, some chap I knew in Swindon knew I sort of into every sport, especially Swindon wise. Like I said, I generally always used to go to Swindon Speedway anyway. Swindon Town football I'm passionate about. Swindon ice hockey, we go most Saturdays straight after football as soon as we can. Boxing I'm into, and then obviously my brother did a lot of white collar as well, so I was in with that as well. And then I did some pro boxing stuff in Swindon with interviews and stuff. Yeah, ringside at a lot of the Paddy Fitzpatrick guys, and Luke Watkins and Calvin Young, Richie Martin, and then I'd done loads of sports. So literally, someone contacted me and said there's a website they're doing. It was called Flick Wiltshire at the time,
right? And
they were covering all them sort of sports and football as well. So obviously I knew all the football around Swindon and Wiltshire as well, because I'd obviously ran a lot of it as well. So I did all that. Yeah, and the guy sponsored me football wise, and I did it for a bit of a job as well for a time. And there's a few Swindon media places that I've also done all them sort of things before. But like I said, I used to go and interview the ice hockey players after games. I've interviewed the Swindon Town chairman before, and all some players and all the speedway riders at pre-season one year that when I was doing it. And so yeah, that was a good experience, and that's why it's helped a little bit now when I'm doing like Q&As and some interviewings and that, sort of like click into a mode of just go into it, like you're nervous and all that, thinking Jesus, I'm speaking to X, Y, and Z. And then I just sort of click into this zone of like,
Trevor McDonald.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Trevor McDonald.
Yeah, good. So I mean that obviously brings us on, in terms of actual Q&A questions. That's a lot, but I don't want to stop there at this particular point in time. The interviewing stuff that we've just talked about flows nicely into why we're here today, the BSMA Motocross Memories page. And I think it's been a breath of fresh air for a lot of people. You obviously started it back in very early October 2014. I think it's been going a good number of years now. Obviously its momentum has picked up more recently, but it's been there a long time in the background. What made you create the group? Why did you want to start something where obviously leaving motocross was obviously a difficult thing for you, but you can tell that again from the passion side of things. How did it come about starting the page, and what was your thought process into doing that?
Because obviously someone pointed out to me the other day when it was actually started in October in 2000. I didn't realise it was that far back. I initially did it so we could, I think I named it something like Pictures or BSMA Pictures or something like that. And people were just, I posted up some racing pictures, and then obviously a few others did. And then I think it went up to about sort of 600-700 followers or something like that. So I was quite chuffed with it at the time. People were putting old TMX clippings up, that sort of thing. And then it's been sort of quite quiet over the years. I've sort of touched into it a few times now and then, tried to encourage people to get on there and stuff. But then obviously the big thing was, as we went into the lockdown, I don't know, I just was missing the motocross thing. Obviously everyone sort of really knows a bit about the story with Dad and stuff, and sort of, always reminiscing. I used to go and reminisce with him all the time about his speedway days and then my motocross, and that was great. And so obviously I missed that massively since losing him. Yeah. And then I just the lockdown, I just thought, I used to do a bit of sports media. I used to do Q&As. Like even back then, I think I interviewed Sean Simpson and a couple of others, like on these websites, even in Swindon, even though it was nothing to do with anything. I just sort of did what I wanted to. Really. But, I just thought, I'd do a few Q&As with some former BSMA riders. It'd be something different, entertaining. I was obviously not doing any football because of the virus and all that, so that was all shut down. So I didn't have that going on. And then it just literally went from there. Like none of it was planned to a degree, really. Just do a few interviews, and then I still can't even remember now when I'm thinking about it, how I even come about with all of a sudden talking to some famous names or anything like that. I don't really know how that came about, to be honest. Thinking about it now.
It's picked up momentum, hasn't it? I mean, I think what probably helped was obviously Mark Jones. I think was one of the first, along with Benji Cockrell.
Yeah.
The ever entertaining Benji.
Oh no, that was so funny.
They were the sort of first video type interviews, and I know you and I had a discussion, and we sort of said, well, that video sort of concept works well, and because initially you sort of said about just doing a Q&A written for people to read in their own time, but it's rolled on from there. And then I think you've interviewed some of the greats, and like you say, some of your heroes, and possibly the greatest of all time in Stefan Everts as well. And hopefully
come out,
which obviously given the number of people you have interviewed, one question I'm sure a lot of us would want to know, and potentially let's hope that it does happen, but if there were 3 riders that you could interview that you haven't done already, off the top of your head, who would you ideally like to interview and why?
I gather we're talking
anyone in the world of any era, any generation.
Right, okay, yeah. If I could literally have anyone in the world, and they offered it to me, I could literally pick any. I think Jeremy McGrath would obviously be one. Showtime. I've even got his replica helmet I had as well.
Yeah,
I quite liked. So definitely him, even though he calls me to do that thing over the tabletop at North Wrexham. Yeah. I loved Jeremy McGrath. Who didn't like Jeremy McGrath?
He was
in the 90s, you know what I mean? It was all. So Jeremy McGrath is definitely one. Probably Ricky Carmichael.
Arguably up there in the GOAT conversation. I think there was a poll up on the page. I think Chris Phillips put it up, didn't he? Sort of saying who's the best, the greatest of all time, and it was either Stefan or Ricky. I mean, I think them two are certainly up there in the conversations, aren't they? And
I think I would have put Stefan up there if I hadn't already spoken to him.
Yeah.
Which I'm posting up tomorrow night, which would be Friday, which I think I've sort of put out there at the minute.
Yeah.
So that's going to be cool. That's a 3-part, well over an hour with Stefan Everts, 30 questions I put to him.
Wow.
Not sure how I got away with that, but his first words was to me, I goes, "Oh, Stefan, remember I said to you, quick, cheeky selfie? Yeah, no worries. Do the selfie." And he goes, "Yeah, so did you get the questions? I sort of emailed you through to him." And he was like, "You have a lot of questions." Well, I sort of it was this awkward silence. I went, is that all right? And he went, yeah, no worries. I was like,
you don't get many chances to interview these type of people.
I know.
Hence why I've got 72 questions for Lee Ashby. You don't get that sort of opportunity. So who's the third guy then? We've got Michael.
Third guy. There's so many that I'd like to get. I mean, even when we say a top 3, this is obviously we're talking universe top 3, but even Rob Heron and Paul Malin for me is massive. I love them guys.
You've done them, baby. You've done them.
I know. I'm so happy with them. Who would I like? I've had a couple sort of comebacks of a couple of riders that I'd really like. Jeff Ward would be nice.
Someone like sort of Ricky Johnson or Guy Cooper or
Airtime Cooper. There's so many. Like Guy Cooper, I'd love to get. Ricky Johnson, like Mad Dog Johnson. Wow. Yeah, I'd love to get him. I sort of thought we were getting that, but I'm not too sure what happened. And then hopefully I'll be able to get Eldrin.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So, where do you see this page, this group? You know, where are you trying to take this in the next 12 months? I mean, what's your ultimate goal with the page for the rest of 2020 and into 2021?
First of all, I'd like to say big thanks to you as well, actually. Obviously, I've sort of put it out there that you're helping me and everything, but you've been a massive help.
I appreciate that. You don't need to thank me, though. I mean, it's
you've put a lot of input into the questions and things. Obviously, I put out like an initial questions, and then you helped me and you changed some, and you've added a lot. They'll hear over the next 3 or 4 interviews, big interviews we got, that you got me a lot of questions in that was superb. I couldn't have thought any better myself, and I was really chuffed with them as well. So yeah, that was really cool. And obviously, you've been helping me pretty much with everything. So yeah, that's making a big difference. But yeah, future wise, obviously now taking it on to another level if possible. Like it's not easy to do round work.
No,
that's the truth of it. I've done solidly for a month and a half now. Probably was doing that, still slipping into people's DMs at 1, 2 a.m. These stars, and then getting up at 6 o'clock.
Not the same DMs that you were sending when you were 17, 18 years of age.
Yeah, well, no,
or at least I hope not. Anyway,
no, nothing rude. Speaking to these people and everything, but like I said, the main of it is getting the BSMA people, but obviously it's all bonuses getting these top guys and everything as well. But taking it on, obviously we've spoke about things and stuff. We've got so many ideas. You've got great ideas as well, obviously, that we could do, take it on further, do more. It's just about obviously, going down that line of if I could, put more time into it and not have to do it around work so much. There's obviously, we know how some of these things work with sponsorships, companies that want to advertise knowing that we're going to get quite a big following at the minute and things like that.
Yeah.
If they could help out in any way like that, then it could obviously put me in a position that I could maybe do it for, at some point for a living.
Yeah.
That would be the ultimate dream, if you want to put it that way.
I think it's clear that you're certainly building the relationships with the riders and the racers, and I know for me, and I'm sure everyone else would agree, it's clear they're quite comfortable talking to you, and that in its own right is massive. So, hopefully you've already got such exclusive content that is beyond anyone's wildest dreams. We're hearing stuff that it's autobiography stuff that probably wouldn't even feature in an autobiography. So hopefully that will continue. The page continues to grow, and I certainly want to thank you, and I'm sure everyone else does as well, for the time, effort, and the hours you're putting in. It's almost like being a motocross rider back in the 90s again. I remember my dad being out in the garage till 11, 12 o'clock at night, Monday through to Thursday, and then we'd pack up go out in the caravan on Friday for race weekends. It's a full-time job for little reward at the moment, but hopefully that does change. You deserve it, and I think hopefully it continues in the trend that we've had over the last month and a half, and you get the rewards you deserve. So
I will say everything about people in the group. Honestly, I've sort of touched about things that have happened to me in the past, because I am quite a passionate person and emotional. And I put it out there pretty much straight and true about what's going on and what's happening and what I've done and sort of things that have happened in my past and everything. But honestly, some of the messages I get, it's been like amazing. Like it makes any work or effort I put in just like, it's been overwhelming. The messages we get, like, of, oh, thanks Lee for, you're making my day with this and it's brightening my day. Even like things like people how thought I'd, Paul Malin's dad private messaged me and goes, mate, doing a great job. It's making my days more interesting and things like that. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like really like people are, maybe they think I'm taking the piss, but I'm deadly serious. I'm like, whoa. Like all these people are messaging me. There's a lot of people I don't know as well, and they're messaging me saying like, my buzz for motocross is back, and this is basically, it's what they're doing is what I'm feeling as well. It's made a massive difference to my life.
Good.
It's been so cool, and the messages, I really want to thank everyone that's sending me so many nice messages and stuff. It's been amazing. And obviously there's a big thing going on now with this BSMA reunion meeting that we've all been talking about.
Yeah, so I mean, tell us a little bit more about that. Obviously breaking news today was that the Vets Motocross the Nation in September has been postponed till 2021. So I guess that kind of sort of puts the kibosh on anything happening this year with the BSMA one. But where are you with that? What's your sort of plans, and where are you sort of thinking it's going to head, and the concept of the idea at this particular stage?
We got the plans are big, to be honest. I mean, like, I've spoke to yourself, tried to get people in the know around it. I spoke to Emma Hucklebridge, that's obviously ran motocross clubs before and she's very experienced. She said she's interested in helping me, which I was grateful for, and been talking to her. I was getting Greg Hansen involved, obviously a man well known around the sport, British champion, etc., his GPs. There's been so many people, obviously all buzzing about the idea of a BSMA reunion. Like, everyone wants a 2-day meeting where we're talking about a practice day on a Saturday, let people sort out their bits and bobs or whatever they wanted to do, and a Sunday race day. And then there's obviously, like, I've had people like, I've had a trophy place say we want to be involved. I've had loads of people to do with the BSMA. I want to thank all these people that have been offering, like, they're going to bring cider bars, and there's going to be hog roast, and there's going to be this and that. It's going to be an amazing thing, I think, if we get it together.
Yeah.
Obviously, we want to do something to do with charities. I've even spoke to Jamie Dobb about his charity, and there's road to recovery and stuff that he's been doing. Stuff. I think he will want to get involved as well. So you're talking about someone else. Just little things like, all the BSMA guys have all been coming back saying, yeah, we'll be in. Like, the interest has been massive. People talking about buying bikes, especially for it. Breaking out bikes for this, especially. My brother wants to race. He's not raced for 30 years, for Christ's sake. Wants to have a go.
Can someone buy us a bike so we can race in it as well?
Yeah, someone wants to buy me and Vaughn a bike. We'll be happy to have a couple of cruisy laps.
Yeah.
I mean cruisy.
One lap race.
Yeah, that's the one. Glove race.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, there's massive interest in it. There's no doubt about that. It'd be a massive thing. We've been looking at a few tracks. Love to go old school a little bit. I love the Farley thing. That's amazing. I can't believe I've not been to that yet, to be honest. So I will make a point of going to that when it's next on. But yeah, we're probably looking at next year now, which is probably ideal in a way, as in, like, we need a lot of planning to do and everything. But I think we're looking at trying to make something a yearly thing. So if everyone supports it, which looks like they're going to, I think it'll be a massive thing, be proper like BSMA, but it will make it like, want to cover all angles, like from kids that are racing BSMA now, like Emma was sort of talking about her boy ride and things like that. Yeah, that'd be ideal. All sorts of groups, 2-stroke, 4-stroke, lads that want to be serious, lads that don't want to be that serious, cover it all. Even down to, like, the bonuses of, like, I think there'll be some ex-pros there. There might even be pros there by the time it starts with the build-up of what it's going to be.
Yeah, so am I right in saying, and obviously I don't want to divulge too much information or speak out of turn, but, maybe looking at doing it around about the similar time of, say, Farley or something, where we can potentially encourage some of the the ex-pros and seasoned veterans that are keen on that scene to maybe sort of dip their toes in the water with the BSMA side of it, and maybe show their faces down at the BSMA reunion weekend as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like, even down to obviously Greg Hansen said he would. There's loads of guys that have already said they'd love to come. Tom Church, even Stephen Sword said to me, if it didn't want in the schedule to do with his Conrad and everything, he'd love to come.
I can't believe Stefan Evans said that he's going to come as well. I mean, that's, you know.
I know. I was like, I'll let you know.
Yeah, we're busy.
Yeah, when Rob Herring said to me, you know, he's not into trying to take it all serious and all that, so I totally get where he's coming from on that angle. He said, if you're doing a practice day on the Saturday, I'd love to come along, and like, who would not want to see that? It's just lovely Brucey bonuses, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, that leads me on to, we've only got a few more questions and we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, that's cool.
But, you've obviously now interviewed a lot of stars, AMA stars, MotoGP or Grand Prix.
People forget that.
What would you say to date, not your favourite interview or the favourite person you've interviewed, but what would be your most memorable interview to date and why?
Ooh. On video?
Video only, not the written ones. I mean, you know, obviously the written ones are all important and take a different spin on it, but you know, the thing is, for you yourself, you're now speaking to people that you called your hero and your idol growing up.
Yeah.
You know, Dave Thorpe, Kurt Nichol, Paul Malley, Jamie Dobb, Stefan Everts, obviously our friend Jimmy Button. You can't forget Jimmy Button.
Yeah, I love Jimmy Button. Yeah, Greg Hansen.
I
mean, you're just saying them names and you forget.
It's
wow.
But is there any that you sort of thought? I mean, obviously Stefan Everts, you probably pinched yourself a little bit with. I mean, you know, interviewing Stefan Everts would probably make you do something silly like spend £70 on a bottle of gin or something, you know, or something silly as that. But
which I did today.
But is there? I mean, what was the pinch me moment so far?
Quite a lot of them, to be honest.
That's fine. I think it's.
I thought that, you know, Greg Hansen, I loved him, so I was like, and I speak to him regularly now, which is like mad. It's like we're like mates. It's like crazy. Honestly, I'm watching these guys, and then the next minute I'm like talking to him. Like I spoke to Jamie Dobb about 3 or 4 days on the trot on the videos and on video link and stuff, and I was like, wow, Jamie Dobb's ringing me. What's going on?
Yeah.
I loved Jamie Dobb. So all the top British guys, they really, like Rob Herring, always used to excite me when I was younger, like watching the Castro Honda days.
Yeah.
And the way he opened up to me as well on the interview, it was really cool. That was really good. I think Paul Malin I loved, and as everyone will see, he goes to like extreme details.
Yeah.
That's a real good watch. That is. Obviously, probably the most nervous I was definitely Stefan Everts.
Yeah. How was the language barrier for that? I mean, obviously he does speak very good English, but did you feel that played a part at all, or?
No, I think he was completely got everything. It was absolutely spot on. Yeah.
Good. Well, I just want to touch upon one last thing, because I'm not sure if everyone knows. I think a lot of people do know, but obviously you come from good stock in terms of your uncle and your dad being professional speedway racers in the 60s and 70s for Swindon. I mean, I know your uncle was the number 1 rider for Swindon for the best part of 10 years. Your dad was a good number 2, and you know that guy that would in heat 15 be the guy to sort of push the line and whatnot. I know that you and I have talked about there was an opportunity for you to potentially get involved in Speedway. Was that before or after you started motocross? And tell us a little bit about what happened, because I think you took like a duck to water, didn't you? And you know, it could have been a completely different that you pursued. And do you regret that you didn't go down that route?
Yeah, for sure. I I won't lie, it gets to me a little bit still today, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I know how close you were to your dad and how much it meant to you, but would he have you preferred you to have done speedway as to motocross? I mean, I know it was your mum that maybe sort of was a bit hesitant you going down that route, having seen your dad get injured, your uncle get injured, and all that, and the bang ups that they used to have. But did your dad ever sort of try and really sort of angle you down that route, or was it sort of up to you to decide?
So basically, what happened was I was 16, so I'd not long gone on a 125 at motocross into the seniors, and I went. Someone got a bike for me to turn up, and I was going to go on the training track around the middle of Swindon. So I had like the old school Ashby red and white and black leathers on, and I had a motocross Axo helmet on, and I had all the Ashby gear on, thinking that I'm just turning up into the pits with like just a bike and maybe a couple of people, my dad and a couple of people, and that'll be it. Turns up in the van, goes through the back of the stadium into the pits, and then, like, literally the pits is full of people. So I'm thinking, have we come at the wrong time? Is something going on? No, they were all there to see what was going to go on. When someone had obviously dropped the name and stuff, and that someone was going to come and practice. And then all of a sudden there was loads of people here. So literally I did feel a bit of pressure straight away. So I was thinking, shit, there's 20, 30 people here, and I'm just going around on the training track. Anyway, it didn't really bother me. I sat on the bike in the pits, and I thought, didn't really like it, being honest. I sat on it because obviously from a motocross bike, it's up quite high. It was on a 125 then, it's up quite high. Speedway bike's quite low compared to a motocross bike. So straight away it felt like you were sat down, almost like in a go-kart type of feel, like from a car getting down to real low. And then sort of, sat like that with the bars, and the tyres didn't feel that pumped up. And it's like you're doing that, like, I'm not sure about that. Went out onto the track. It was quite sketchy. It was like half patchy, like half little few puddles and a bit of wet bits, and then some real dry bits and all that. So Dad's like, right, go out there. So I never did any practice starts or nothing. So he goes to me, just go around steady, see what you think. Keep out of them wet patches, blah blah blah. Right, okay. Started going around. Does like one lap of going around slow. Got bored. And then literally just went off, literally like I'd been riding all my life doing it. Just literally went round and round and round. And I literally did a motocross moto, literally until I ran out of fuel. So I remember I was like, what's happening here then? And then when I come in, he goes, what are you doing? I said, what? He goes, you know, this is like Speedway now. You're not doing motocross. And I literally tried to ride out a moto on the Speedway track. Oh, so funny. Yeah, and I literally as well, and because I was getting bored, obviously we're used to jumps and all these sort of things, and I was literally he was like, keep out of this, keep out of that, be careful of that, they might pick up a bit of driving there. Of course, I've gone straight through it, doing that. That'd be more interesting, surely. Straight through it, no problem. Literally loved it as well. Other than I was bored because I wanted to race with someone. Do you know what I mean? I was bored just going around on my own. Straight away, my first thought was I'd like to race with someone, and then I did have one slide off, which wasn't too bad. I literally was going really quick into the corner, and then obviously there's no fence around it, and I realised I was probably going a little bit too fast into the corner, and everyone was sort of watching on that corner. The manager of the stadium and all that at the time was Ted Nelson, and there was another manager, Bill Chandler. And I was thinking, shit, I'm getting a bit close over to that way. And I just realised, and I just did this little professional slide off. Lay it down, as they call it.
Lay it down.
Yeah, so I give it this little lay down. I thought, oh, that was all right. It actually hurt as well. It's like real, like a gravel rash sort of sensation. It was weird. But yeah, and literally thought nothing of it, got straight back up. It was almost like a practice crash, like as in I practiced it on purpose. It wasn't like I was out of control and I was like all over the place. I literally sort of almost did it to try it. It's weird, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, I literally reeled off lap after lap after lap, just kept going round and round and round. Cut it short. I literally was asked to sign there and then. The manager of the stadium was like, wow, he took to that straight away. I was 16 years old. Obviously, everyone already knew the name.
Yeah.
But I knew it was in my blood anyway. I knew it from day dot. Like that's what I wanted to do. I idolised all the speedway riders. I wanted to be a speedway rider. And I just feel the way I wasn't a one-dimensional racer, like I said. At motocross, I would make passes, wouldn't run into guys. I would, use strategies and pass them clean. And so I knew I had that sort of thing in me as well. Racecraft, as you want to call it. But then I made fast starts all the time at motocross. We always had, 40 on the line. In our days, it was packed out and stacked and all that. I was always be near the front, if not a whole shot there or thereabouts. I'd always fancied it with 4 on the line. Fancied it with 40 on the line.
Yeah.
And it's such a short race at Speedway. If you make a good start and you can ride well and you get your head down, and you're in business.
Yeah.
Like my uncle, he was a star for Swindon. Thing that did him was he wasn't very good at starting. Great racecraft, great rider, but obviously then that would catch him out on the big events in the world championships where he was as good enough to be a world champion.
Yeah.
But he just didn't make them starts in them things, so. But yeah, I definitely feel it's a missed the boat thing, and like I said, they wanted to sign me. I was obviously buzzing about it and all that sort of thing, and then happened to be my mum was the secretary to the owner of the whole stadium.
Oh, okay.
She used to be in charge of all the women that did the totes and that for greyhounds and all this sort of stuff. So she's like, the first thing she says to him is like, he's not signing over my dead body, was the exact words. She's obviously used to seeing my dad at the PMH, the old Swindon hospital, like on a weekly basis. They knew how many sugars he had in his tea. Oh, all right, Dave, you're back in again, are you? Collarbone, is it? Yeah, broken leg, is it? Broken arm, ruptured this, that, and everything going. He nearly died a couple of times where he had such serious accidents. So you can see what they were thinking like that. But my dad was quite cheeky because he never told me it was anything to do with him. He literally left it all on my mum that, your mum don't want you doing it. We can't do it and all that. And as it turns out, my mum told me the real story is that they both agreed that I shouldn't do it. So my dad kept that quite cool.
Yeah. He got away with it.
Yeah, he got away with that. Yeah. He took that with him, bless him. But I mean, he never told me that. So yeah, that was interesting. Of course, I had all the hate on the mum.
At least you got to give it a go, and
I got pictures from it as well. Some pictures.
You'll have to put some up on the group. I'm sure people would be interested to see them. Of you on the bike
with the old racing levers on. I still got them as well.
Yeah. Good stuff. So, just to finish off, what can we expect in the coming? I assume this interview might go out tomorrow or early part of the weekend, but what can we expect in the coming few days to be sort of on the group?
Yeah, I posted obviously tonight, Thursday night. I posted Steve Dixon with Mikey Whitewick, the Steve Dixon one. Tomorrow, I've told everyone that Friday night will be Stefan Everts.
The big one. Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, get your popcorn, your beers out on Friday night for the big one, Stefan Everts. We've got some superb ones still to put out. I've got a 4-part mail-in, literally 2-3 hours. He's so detailed, and there's so much information that I couldn't believe he was passing over. It's awesome. Kurt Nichol, 3 parts still to come out of him. Well over an hour. Kurt Nichol even got his wife in on the interview as well, telling stories. It sounded like he turned into Travis Pastrana for a while.
Oh, nice.
Doing some mad stuff that you wouldn't expect from a Kurt Nichol story.
He would be a good one to get. Maybe we need to get to try and get.
I've mentioned it.
Travis on.
Yeah, and then I got like David Pingree, who does the old whiskey throttle, and obviously he used to ride Pro Circuit and all these. Yeah, he's cool. He's really easy to get on with, and I knew he'd be good listening to his things that he's done in the past. He was really cool. He's also said that he's going to put us in touch with some guys if we need him and all that as well. So that was pretty cool.
Excellent.
Yeah, and Dobby said that he's going to get us in contact with some people as well. So that's cool. And I've sort of mentioned it a little bit in the Facebook group that I have got some haywire live video they're going to do. Live video interview. Is
this breaking news, Lee Ashby? Or
should we drop it?
It is a big one.
It is a big one. Shall we drop it?
What it will tell is it will see if people have bothered to listen to the whole Lee Ashby interview or not.
Yeah, because we know it's right at the end. Yeah, like no sound of it as whatsoever. Oh yeah, actually, I've got to say as well, thanks to Simon Howells, he sent me these iron-on. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
I think so. I think they're good.
Yeah, just the Camel Supercross and the AMA badge. He had some iron-on things, and he said, "Do you want them?" And I was like, "Yeah, sound." So I've got actually something to do with motocross now. So I've ironed them on the t-shirt. Yeah.
Can we see the trophy behind you? Can you bring that into shot, maybe?
Oh yes, that's my original. It's quite a big one. Look, it's my original first ever trophy that I said that was one of my favourite ones. It's quite a big bronze trophy, and it was Midwilk Schoolboy Scramble Club Championship 1989 was my first year. Inter 80, Lee Ashby third. So by the end of my first year racing, I got third in the club championship. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. So you don't get trophies like that in this day and age, do they?
That is a peach, mate, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
lovely.
like bigger than me, and that's saying something.
Nice trophy. So yeah, so you got some good interviews coming up, and a big one that maybe you will drop or not, but
I don't know. Should we? Don't know.
It's taking things to the next level.
Yeah, we're talking about a live Facebook interview. So the plan is
2 meters apart.
Oh yeah, 2 meters apart, social distancing and all that. But yeah, a live Facebook feed. Like I've only done 2, which have both been at Fox Hill, ironically. Yeah, live Facebook interview. I'm talking. It'll be a give a date and a time. It's a definite popcorn, beers, candy floss. Get your mates round, cider, have your phones, your laptops, your PCs, whatever you need to do to speak to me live. You'll need it. And then they can ask live questions. So what I'll do is I'll probably have questions on me anyway, and then I'll take questions live from people there and then in a famous person's house.
Some might say it's a high-end motor car interview, wouldn't they? I think.
Yeah,
it's top of the tree, really.
Yeah, I reckon it would be. Yeah, and I reckon you might have had that on the back of his pants one day, apparently.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. But I just want to obviously again thank you, Lee, for everything you've done. Thank you for finally giving in to the peer pressure of everyone wanting to hear your take on it and your involvement in the sport. It's always interesting to hear. I think I speak on behalf of you to sort of say, BSMA riders, get your interviews in, even if you're not comfortable doing it on video, get the written ones in, because they're an interesting read. They're nice to read, and everyone needs to hear everyone's side of their story. And I think the plan is at some point maybe to even publish a book with all the interviews in and things like that. So again, breaking news, but it's going to be big. So keep following, spread the love. Thank you very much, Lee. All the best, and
much appreciated.
I'll leave the last words to you.
Thanks to you, mate. Let's keep the ball rolling, and hopefully everyone's been enjoying it. Well, they keep telling me they are, and they're messaging me they are, so that obviously gives them motivation as well. So yeah, we're planning to bring more and more, and hopefully keep it going on.
Excellent.
Me and my man Vaughn.
All right, Babby. Well, thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Speak soon.
Yep. Cheers, mate. Take it easy. See you, everyone.
Bye.
Ciao. Cheers.